Final Talk, Final Talk, Final Talk with Tavis,
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Vinyl Talk with Tavis, and I'm Tavis. I'm so glad that you could join me today on this video. I'm really excited about this particular video because I'm going to be talking about my favorite soundtrack of all time. Now, I know we all know that there have been wonderful soundtracks throughout the years that are associated with movies, and I'd be interested in knowing what is your favorite soundtrack. So please take the time to comment below and let me know what yours may be. Maybe you have more than one. That's okay. But I think I just had to go ahead and let you know what my favorite soundtrack of all time is. Now, I have some notes here because I learned some great things regarding soundtracks. So listen closely. If you already know this, then thank you for listening. If you don't know this, let's learn together, okay? A soundtrack album is any album that incorporates music directly recorded from the soundtrack of a particular feature, film, or television show. The first such album to be commercially released was Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the soundtrack to the film of the same name in 1938. Never knew that. So here we are, buying all these wonderful soundtracks and never really knowing what the first one was. Or maybe you knew that. I didn't know that. So that was a great learning moment for me. Now, the first soundtrack album of a film's orchestral score was that for Alexander Korda's 1942 film, Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book, composed by Miklos Rozsa. Now, there are links in the description below that will lead you to listen to the music that I've mentioned, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and the Jungle Book. I've learned so much studying these soundtracks. It's just been amazing. Now let's get into some of the most popular soundtracks, like within the past 50 years, if you will. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list, but maybe you recognize these, like The Breakfast Club, Grease, Boogie Nights, Purple Rain, The Lion King, Top Gun, Batman, The Prince of Egypt, Flashdance, Forrest Gump, Superfly, and The Bodyguard. Now, The Bodyguard just happens to be, at this moment, I believe, and this is May of 2023, it's the top selling soundtrack album of all time so far. Now, what was the top selling album before Michael Jackson's Thriller? It happens to be my favorite movie soundtrack of all time. Have you guessed it yet? It is Saturday Night Fever. And as you can tell, I have not unboxed it. I got it from Amazon the other day. In fact, I think I got it a couple of weeks ago. And I wanted to do a video about this particular record, but it got me more involved in soundtrack history, and I had to do some research, and I kept putting it off, and I haven't even opened this up. I had it for 2 weeks, my Lord. But let's unbox it, and I hope that you're having a great day. There's some great history behind this record, y'all, or this double LP set. 1977, the Bee Gees. Of course, there are other artists on this great compilation of music. But I tell you, this album sends me, it takes me right back to 77. Now, I believe like a long time ago, when I first started this channel, I did a video about me owning this record. I think I found it at some bookstore or something. Or I think I ordered it on eBay. And I don't know if it was new or not, but I've since sold it. But now I'm reclaiming, if you will, all my music that I've recently sold. And this is just one of those records that I just have to have. Oh my God. Y'all, this just takes me back to 77. It's so nostalgic. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was 5 years old when it came out, okay? All I know is that when I go to visit my family, I would hear the music on 45s. And it wasn't until I got in college that I saw the movie. When Blockbuster was out and you could rent movies. And to me, the music has a life of its own. So it's like the movie was just like, it was like, okay, that's the movie, but here's the music. You know, that's how I even feel today. But I've since rewatched the film, and it's such a great classic film.
Would you like to know what I do?
It's not necessary.
I'll tell you what I do. I open a paint store, and I got raised this week.
Right. You work in a paint store, right?
Yeah.
You probably live with your family, you hang out with your buddies, and on Saturday night you go, you blow it all off 2001, right?
That's right.
You're a cliche. You're nowhere. On your way to no place.
What do you got? Stairway to the Stars or what?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm taking a course nights at the new school. Next semester I'm gonna take 2. Now you probably didn't get no college, did you?
No, I did not.
Well, did you ever think about going to college?
No.
Not ever?
No, Jew?
Well, not back then, no.
What the fuck you bugging me about it for?
Well, why not? Why didn't you ever want to go to
Jesus,
college?
fuck off. Yeah, I did not,
No,
all right?
really, tell me, why
Oh, Jesus
not?
Christ. I didn't.
It's a time capsule. It's a movie about what was going on at that time. Disco was just rampant. It was just a phenomenon. It was just crazy fun. And let's just look at the vinyl together. Then I'm going to talk about the history of this record. There's side 4, you know, which features, I mean, look at that. Can you see the music? That last song, which is, I believe it's the Tramps' Disco Inferno, which is 10 minutes and 50 seconds long. Yes, I can't wait to hear that. But the Bee Gees music, that really catapulted the album to wonderful success. Robert Stigwood signed the Bee Gees to a record deal in America with Atlantic Records. In 1976, Robert Stigwood would purchase the film rights to a New York Magazine article called Tribal Rights of the New Saturday Night by Nick Cohen. Filming was scheduled to begin in the fall of 1976. The film became Saturday Night Fever. Many of the songs that the Bee Gees do on this album, they were already written, such as Night Fever, Staying Alive, How Deep Is Your Love, If I Can't Have You, More Than a Woman, and the song You Should Be Dancing was already on the Bee Gees album Children of the World from 1976. So at the time, the Bee Gees were considered a progressive R&B, blue-eyed soul group, and they felt the change happening in the overall popular music culture. So with the release of the album of Saturday Night Fever, disco lessons, dancing lessons became just a craze back in the day, because Saturday Night Fever, the movie, is all about dancing and John Travolta doing those moves, and the music became really fun. And the Bee Gees have mentioned, I've heard in previous interviews, that during the late 60s and early 70s, you know, music was mostly peaceful, if you will. That was the popular music. And coming after the peace movement, people wanted to just have fun. Hence came disco music. Popular in the 60s, the Bee Gees were looking for a new energetic sound for the 70s. So after just coming off 2 major hit albums, main course, and Children of the World. They were in France, and Robert Stigwood called them and said, hey, there's this movie coming out. Would you like to please write some music? You know, and at the time, the Bee Gees were very popular, and they agreed, and they recorded their music in France. I never knew that. And they're so popular for their beautiful melodies and their strong hooks, which to me is what makes a great song to me. You know, jazz has its greatness. Classical music has its greatness. You know, there are things that you can remember. If I went bum 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 ba, you know exactly that it was Beethoven, or at least you've heard that before. Or if I play this on the piano at school, if I play na 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 na, the kids will say, I know that, I know that. They may not know the name of it, but they are reminded of it. Maybe they've heard it in a movie or something. And that's a strong hook. That's what a hook is. It makes you remember a particular piece in the music. It's probably the strongest part of the song usually. So the Bee Gees, they were no exception to that. They knew how to make beautiful melodies and strong hooks. Now, again, it was the biggest selling album before Thriller, and it won a Grammy for Album of the Year in 1979. So it's second now to the Bodyguard soundtrack as being the best-selling soundtrack of all time. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video and this unboxing. Again, this is the vinyl. Let me go ahead and show the other vinyl as well. And I'm smiling because when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And when you're weeping alone. That's a very famous quote. That's a very famous quote. So here is the first song, Staying Alive. Ha, 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 staying alive, staying alive, staying alive. You can't tell me that's not a jam. You can't tell me it's not. If you do, I'm slapping you. Can you feel that slap? Again, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. My favorite soundtrack of all time is Saturday Night Fever. Again, what is your favorite soundtrack? Please comment below. And if you know some history about this album that I don't know, please let us know. And as always, do you see Frank there? Y'all, as you can tell, I'm slowly but surely getting my place fixed up here. There's my lovely little kitchen, and here's the place where I have my, do you see this little prop? That's where I hold up my records, or I hold up the sleeve. But my God, this is a great album. Frank Sinatra sings for Only the Lonely from the 1950s to 1958. Oh my God, I've been listening to this, not that I'm lonely, but I'm just listening to it because it's fun. I love Frank Sinatra. So, there you have it. And as always, with music and with phenomenal soundtracks, be inspired, and you better stay inspired.